Okay, so let's get started with Bitcoin first, and then we'll go through other active coins. And we'll also look into macro trend, as mentioned, that will be after everything. Okay, so this is one day. Um, we have a couple of formats. So first, we'll start with Binance. This is weekly, so a quick recap. The downtrend or counter trend started from R17. Since then, for in month of November last year until January, and it continued with a downturn. This was the first major move which suggested that it wants to recover from this specific counter trend point of view. And so this was the first dip, as usual. I mean, this is the first dip, this is second dip as usual, and this is double top, and then retracement was quite deeper. Various reasons, war, and mainly war, I would say. All the markets were stressed out, and yeah, so first it got a support here. We highlighted here above the yellow, because that was unusual after having this green candle. um, to me, this was unusual move, so I highlighted here. We had an emergency call and a recording as well, right? So this was the point where risk was raised, and then of course the support level were given, and we had a couple of calls. So far I think there is no surprise, and to me at this moment the big picture is more important, mainly because the market is so volatile, and there is no way to time it unless we understand the price level. This is 24 by 7 market. It's very, very hard. Anything can pump anytime and dump anytime. So I think we will focus more on the trend. We'll focus more on a longer term point of horizon. Of course, on ad hoc, I'll be providing some short term 10%, 15%. That's the style. But for last couple of days, I'm focusing more on the macro trend to understand what it is trying to do, and I'm going to share details about it today. So this is it should have stopped here after raising the alert, because this is the limit, and when it went below because that's why I put this warning below this level for a reason, because you know what, retracement has a limit with like each wave has some limit, and below that limit it doesn't make sense. So first alert was raised below the yellow, I mean above the yellow, and then this supports were given. As you could see now, it broke all this support, ultimately found this support. Now this is the worst one. Means this is the worst one in a sense. There is no rule as such. It can bounce from here as well, as I said, but when it goes so deep, it tells us something, right? And the bounce that we saw was amazing, and this bounce is not from Bitcoin alone. It's not that, because there are, I think, it's not just, definitely I saw this is a support as well. When I calculated this, I had shared this as well, and it bounced off this last one. Now point is, this is not just, of course it followed technicals, but the point is, the pace at which it bounced. This is not just Bitcoin. That's my point. It also happened with Nasdaq. It also happened with gold, opposite direction. It also happened with oil, opposite direction. So what happened in the capital market? All the commodities were going up, right? And stocks and Bitcoin were going down. And the moment Biden completed the speech day before yesterday, around 2 or 2:30 Eastern time, which is like evening UTC, 7 in the evening, roughly 7 to 8. That point in time, market went up simply because the sanctions were not severe. People were expecting harsher sanction like Swift channel, ban on Swift channel, which is a payment channel for all the payment hubs like banks. So Europe and Biden basically they decided not to go for that option, and there are various reasons. So we'll talk about that later. But the point is, right after his speech, market went up, and also the Bitcoin and all the commodities went down. We'll have a look at commodities quickly also after we go through. So to me, this move was more event news driven and short term, I believe. It was like a relief rally. It was like market was anticipating major because that those sanction would have hurt many players in the game. So we'll talk about that later. But we are focusing more on Bitcoin at this moment, right? But just wanted to touch base that what we are seeing here is not just Bitcoin, it's beyond Bitcoin. It's important to understand what is happening beyond Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has no identity at this moment. Let me tell you, not from a negativity point of view. I mean, there is no negativity towards Bitcoin, but simply because it's not a it's not an asset which is a store of value. It has proven over time, and we talk about this also in past, because store of value, people compare that, hey, Bitcoin moved up by X percentage in last 5 years, and some other asset moved just this much. That's not store of value comparison. Store of value comparison comes when the hedging situation comes. People misunderstand. If Bitcoin goes up by 10,000%, that's not store of value. It's appreciation of an asset, and that usually happen when it is young. It doesn't happen over time. Anything that is young is volatile and goes up. As it saturates, as time passes, there are more participants, the volatility goes down, and that upside movement. So people are naive. Sometimes I feel they don't understand and compare what they will understand in next 10 years what happened. So first 10 years, first 5 years, this always, in fact, they should see what happened in first 5 years. Forget about comparing Bitcoin with other asset. Just compare Bitcoin with first 5 years of Bitcoin and then last 5 years of Bitcoin, right? Just compare 6 years first, 6 years, and later 6. Then the answer is there. Bitcoin is slowing down. So the narrative that people give, that Bitcoin gained this much compared to Apple stock, for example, or S&P, that's ridiculous. That means they don't have understanding. This is speculative asset, so percentage. But the point is, the store of value means, is asset able to retain its value? So one perspective, you can say it is beating the fiat currency or inflation. So that point of view, you can argue, but the real meaning is, when the bad time comes, when the hedging is required from the main asset, then what happens? So to me, Bitcoin is more like any other tech stock. Only thing is it's faster and it has more gain. So I agree on the gain part, but I don't agree on the hedge part. So this, because people generalize it, but I think we have to be very specific that bad time came, whether it's a COVID time, whether it's a Fed announcement, or whether it's wartime. All three occasions, Bitcoin has gone down. And I learned this, and I'm very open about it. It's not that I like Bitcoin, I like everything in crypto, but but this cannot be ignored. So point is, whatever action, price action we saw is not Bitcoin action. It's more driven from the capital market, overall capital market, like commodity markets. Especially commodities are driving, in my opinion, because what happened is the commodities are actually the hedge at this moment. If you look at it, wartime came, what happened is the natural gas is going up, oil is going up, gold is going up, other precious metal is going up. But when things, even bond is not a hedge. Let me tell you that in traditionally, bond used to be hedge. Not, I mean, I used to, I used to convert my portfolio into bond temporarily when there was pressure on equity. But you know what? These days we cannot do that even because bonds are all going down. So market is weird. Bond used to be a safe haven when the equity is used to be in pressure, because that's like money moves from one asset to another. It's just portfolio shifting. Some people cash out, some people go for cash plus bond, that and gold. That used to be the case, and people were expecting that one fine day Bitcoin will be the asset where money can be parked. They learned the lesson. But the point is, not just Bitcoin, we talk about Bitcoin, but even bond is not a safe haven. That's something new. It never happened before. You can look at it. I mean, you can pause. So this is changing world, and in that, what I observed that even bond is not safe haven. Bond is going down, the yields are going up, right? That's what happened. When the yields go up, bond price goes down, basically. So the even bond is not safe haven. So when I had to really think about where should I park my money, especially if you're in the US and if you have 401k, and you want to park some money into some safer asset. It's not easy to find unless you go for money market fund, which is cash basically. Anyway, so the point is, that even very different situation, where as far as hedging is concerned. In short, the commodities were going up rapidly. As soon as that speech completed, all of them dropped. Let me show you. All of them dropped like, had a free fall actually. Let me show you quickly. This is the drop, the moment that speech. Oh, and this drop you see, very, like, it's not small drop. It crossed over $100 per barrel and then drop all of a sudden, right? If you look at gold, so same thing happened. Gold went down. So people had definitely parked their money. They were taking out from stocks, they were taking out from Bitcoin, in general crypto, and the money was moved into gold and oil and natural gas and other basically commodities, maybe the wheat, because Ukraine is the major wheat producer. 25% of the world's wheat is actually supplied by Russia and Ukraine. So, point is, commodities are the safe haven these days. But what happened after that speech? You see what happened to the gold. The moment I saw this, I was watching the speech. I was watching this happening, and I, I was just thinking, look at that. It was sudden drop, like in minutes of 5-10 minutes, and so there's no, it's the moment this happened, Nasdaq went up. um, Nasdaq went up like this, and then of course next day, which is yesterday, right, and the same time our Bitcoin went up as well. Okay, so let's go back to Bitcoin. So this candle that you see is just a mirror image of what happened to gold. The money again moved to stocks, money moved again to Bitcoin. That's it. So in this situation, it is important that we look into not just Bitcoin. of course we are focusing on Bitcoin, but I'm personally looking into literally everything that is related to Bitcoin. I mean, which could potentially. So I touch base some points. If you have more question, I can answer. This session is being recorded, so I'm trying to be very much specific. I mean, though I touch base a lot of points to give you bigger picture, right? It is important to understand bigger picture, not from a Bitcoin's bigger picture, but beyond Bitcoin in capital market. And we have new channel as well, right? So if we ran that channel for 4 months, if you're interested, you may join it. I think I kept very low price, so I'm not trying to promote, but if you're interested, you may join. Some of you started joining, so mm, I think I'll continue with a major updates on that one on commodities. Anyway, so but you saw what happened in gold and the drop, and then Nasdaq and Bitcoin had a mirror image in terms of in 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 form of bounce here. Okay, and it continues second day, like yesterday Friday, and then now Bitcoin is on its own because right now market is closed, right? The capital market is closed. So what we are seeing is just Bitcoin. In my opinion, Bitcoin could move here and there, but it is likely to make a major move only when the market opens. So that has been a reality that Bitcoin is not moving for it by itself, but it is mainly driven by capital market. Sometimes the correlationship is very, very strong, means each and every minute it follows. Sometimes correlationship weakens, and for a day or two, sometimes it look like they are diverging, and sometimes it's impossible to predict when they will come. The relationship will be close or fall apart. So it's impossible to know, but as and when it happens, we can figure it out. So at this moment, of course, it's tightly coupled. Tightly coupled, that's for sure. And you saw the gold chart that I shown to you, and um, right, other chart, the oil chart. So it is clearly evident. So that's why it went up. Okay, and of course it followed technical as well, and it's still following technical when it stopped by S7, and then now it's stopped by S6. And I think I removed some drawing I had, or maybe different version. Let me open a different version on Coinbase. No. Okay, anyway, I'll redraw. Maybe I removed. um Anyway, let me. So this was first breakout point earlier. See, that's what happened. There's another thing that I had to draw on locally. Looks like I didn't save it. Maybe I'll remove this. The structure that I'm seeing right now, very simple. I'll take the midpoint. This is a quick spike actually. Hmm. So this is what is happening here. Okay, so if you look at it, this yellow line, is basically a near-term resistance. Okay, near-term resistance, and so it is possible that Saturday, Sunday, it may not do anything but remain in this range. If it can break above and move, then that will be a very positive move. Then we can say Bitcoin is not relying on capital market. We have to change that understanding. For 2 days, of course, it totally reflected, right? Both Nasdaq and Bitcoin. It's not that, because as I said, it's like you have to think different asset class as buckets, right? Big buckets are asset classes, and then small buckets are like you can imagine a mug in a bucket, right? Or let me different say, yeah. So if you think a different asset class, what is different asset class? Commodities, equity means stocks, and bonds, fixed income, right? Fixed income, these are asset classes where the bond comes, and basically these are asset classes. And then you further go down and say, okay, within the commodities we have oil, then metal, and then agriculture product and also. And then you further go down and then say, okay, now agriculture product, we're talking about soybean or wheat or those kind of thing. Metal, we have silver, gold, and so on. Commodities, I mean, then we have natural gas, and then you know energy sector, basically that. So likewise, you can have third level as well. So what happened is money move from one asset class to another, and within that asset class, specific level, sorry, specific products, they go in. That's what happens. Money doesn't go out of the system, they move around. That's it. So investor, traders, whatever, they need to just understand what is happening and move around the money. That's a simple thing. Okay, and that's how it is. So everybody does that. Okay, so based on situation. So money never goes out of the system. Okay, now yeah, so if Bitcoin could move up, if it can break about days high, especially 40,300, let's say 40K plus, or 40,300, let's say, that's better. Then we can say Bitcoin wants to be independent. But my hunch is it is likely to be range bound within below this yellow line, below today's high. And then comes Monday. I mean, not just Monday, I think starting from Sunday evening my time, which is like midnight UTC, that time. So basically, yeah, um, 9 and 24, 30, 31 hours from now, Nasdaq will open, and I think that that's where they will work together, in my opinion, especially. Yeah, Nasdaq is still a big brother, but point is that it will start getting clues, and also other market will open as well. Like gold will open, natural oil will open, and all other market will open as well. Those are international markets, so they open early. So point is, it is possible that for next few hours, we might not see a major movement, maybe range bound movement, but not a major movement. That's something we have to see. But this is a short term structure, okay? So whatever I said is all short term at this moment. But I think yeah. So you, and this candle is not so attractive in my point of view. This is like, yeah, this candle is totally uncertain. This is defensive. Like, it's more defensive candle to me. It's a reactionary candle. Okay. Um, that's it. So that's why definitely it's positive. Uh, I don't want to sound negative, but the point is, it's not just Bitcoin. It's beyond Bitcoin, and we'll be watching everything. Anyway, so For now, short term, as I explained, this is the scenario. We can zoom out and get into high time frame, right? So from Binance layout point of view, rejected by S6, we can say, and supported by S7. Also, if you look at Spectrum, actually it did very well. If then RT earlier this had stopped, then supported by RT here, and then rejected by RT. To me, Spectrum is doing excellent job here. Excellent job, because these are the times where these things get tested, because this is set. I'm not changing anything. This is set for many weeks, and they are doing well. So that's very encouraging. Yeah. So if Spectrum, as per the Spectrum, it has to break above RT. I mean, close above RT for us to say now, okay, now we're not talking about downside. So still it's below RT. So even Spectrum is not saying, not allowing us, which is, Spectrum is in line, which I like it. I would like to be, Spectrum to be more reliable, and time will tell. So far, so good, right? So new products take time; they get tested, and then we start believing in it. So far, so good, I would say. Um, right now, now we have Bitstamp for weekly, different format, different perspective. Now, this was a simple line I had drawn, if you remember, right, long back ago. So it got a bounce from here. Makes sense. Now this is very simple pattern, rectangular pattern, upper bound, lower bound, right? Nothing new here. So I won't spend a lot of time. And the whole gray area is a consolidation area, right? And when it was here, I mentioned that it may behave like this, if you remember, and it did, where it retested this level. And that's why I have this gray area, because sometimes not only this much, it could go even further down. Like for example, this candle wick was pretty low compared to this, but not didn't close there, it closed higher. So similarly, there can be a crazy wick down and then settle somewhere here. That's why this gray box was added, and this is totally valid, because this is whole entire thing is a consolidation zone. Now when you look at the big picture, you need more range, price range. You need it, because this is not a day trading, this is not 1 day 2 day off thing, this is a weekly chart, right? And the whole entire consolidation is of 1 year. Think about it. The current price what we're seeing was in January last year, right? So over 1 year, the Bitcoin average price is still there. So you can say that Bitcoin hasn't gained in last 13 months on an average basis, because it went up and then down. And if you look at this level, roughly this 40K level is an average level, right? And 29K, 60K, and the 40K is an average level. So we can say that Bitcoin is here in this at this level for last 1 year. And one way to look at it, this is very positive, because this is not a bad trend. If people are thinking that way, it's not a bad, it's a huge consolidation. But let me tell you one thing, that the huge consolidation is very helpful if Bitcoin could go and hit this region, 53K plus. If Bitcoin hits this region, the same consolidation is very harmful. Consolidation simply means that it's a phase where it gathers energy. Now that energy is either used for upside move or downside move. It all depends on the breakout level. So to me right now, simple probability just based on that, this is when it reaches this level, dotted line 43K, 43,500. If it breaks above, then the probability of breakout on the upside is higher. Very simple. And as long as it's here, the probability of breakdown is higher. Okay. And this is about a big picture and a simplistic approach, as I say. So there is nothing, and this always to be keep kept in mind that Bitcoin has to be here, 45K plus ideally, right? Then we are not talking about any downside. As long as it's here, the downside risk is always around. Okay, I'm not talking about $500 here and there, because when we look at the big picture, it is about specific range. It's not about specific dollar number, and that has to be the approach, right? So as long as Bitcoin is below this white dotted line, the lower part of this structure, we are not out of the risk totally. Okay, it has to be here, and this has to be remembered every day. So whatever you do, assume that is everything is short term, as long as it's below this region, and there's nothing wrong in, because we want to be in line with what is happening. Okay, so as far as overall structure is concerned, as I said, very positive energy gathering, and especially this bounce is very positive because this bounce didn't continue and reach to this level, because this level is a dangerous level. This red line I drawn for a reason, because this region would put pressure on this line, and that would not be good. And if that happens, then this is a double top. And I don't like to talk about a lot, but it's simple downside move, 27K, 24K, that kind of level, and up to 17K, in a worst case even 10K, because then it's a whole entire structure. Simply put, you have seen what happened to Solana. I'll show you the when the Solana comes, you will understand this. Solana is somewhere here in terms of life cycle. It is ahead in the game. So I'm not saying the Bitcoin will follow it. What I'm saying is this it's important this pattern is tracked properly, if this pattern is understood properly, because the consequences could be. So I would, in the bear trend point of view, there are three levels. One is 27K, 24K, 17K, and a very like worst case scenario, it could come down all the way to 12K, or maybe this one. In Because in that case, what will happen is it will just complete the loop. You'll understand this why I'm saying this. Then you can say this is big left shoulder, and then this is a big head. And I don't want to draw this one because it will scare you, but just to, from a TA point of view, this is left shoulder, this is a big head. But the probability of this to happen is very low, extremely low, so we should not talk about it, right? But we'll talk about it if it breaks below the orange line. Then we have to talk about, again, we will not talk about this level, of course not. Okay, as I said, it's all, there are always stages, 27K, 24K, then 17K, and so on. But if it continues, we are going to update, right? So but the TA has to think about everything. And once it breaks above, I have a higher level as well. As I said, 100K is not the level, 120K, around 120K is the next major level. So if it goes up like this, then it is likely to break up. So there is 90K, there is one 90K, and then another is 110 to 120K. So we are talking about that, and there is one more at 250K and all. So I have that as well. So point is, I have calculated on the both a higher side and a lower side, right? And based on the situation, we are going to basically have our I mean, we are going to have a position, and there won't be surprise. There cannot be any surprise from a big picture. See, there can be quick bounce and here and there, but there won't be surprise in terms of major direction point of view. As I said, that bounce we saw talk about happen in 5 minutes.
Mihir, you are muted, Mihir.
I'm sorry. Now is it okay now? Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Now it's okay.
yeah,
Just now suddenly you was muted.
yeah. I know. So point is, if you don't, you don't need to blame that you missed it, because if you look at it, this move was very quick. In matter of like few minutes, it went up. So it's not that you missed something. You haven't missed anything. Okay, so don't worry. So, so the big picture has to be always kept in mind, as I said. We talked about short term. We also talked about long term, right? We are going to look at one indicator, and that won't be recorded, but we are going to look at that as well. So, what we'll do is, any question on Bitcoin, let me know. We'll go through all the alts and then talk about other topics. Okay. But this is like, okay, monthly. Let's have a quick look at the monthly of from the monthly is not bad, especially after the bounce. When on Thursday this was really bad because it was red. This is still green, but is those who know little bit of TA would understand that this is not good enough. When you see this candle, this is not good enough. What you would like to see is this kind of a thick body, solid body, not like this kind of a doji thing. So I would say it's in a survival mode at this moment, right? This is a survival mode. Month is ending in 2 days, right? So if it ends like this, then it won't be good, I would say, but not worst as well, right? It's a survival mode, because then what it does in the month of March is important. But if it closes here, then it is not good, simply put. So the monthly is definitely weak. Okay, there's no doubt about it at this moment. What we When it reaches this level again, 45. So imagine that we talked about 45K, right? And on a weekly. So if we reach weekly, I mean 45K, then it would be somewhere here, and then that would be a formidable position for even monthly. So let's say 2 days it may not do anything, but in the month of March next month, if it starts making move on the upside and reaches to 45K, reaches here, then it will really look good. Then more like nice one first dip, because this is uptrend, right? And this is the first dip. Actually, this is the first dip, and then a bounce, rejection, and then this is a retest. From a big picture point of view, this is a first dip, then this is a rejection, then this is a retest of this 29K, right? And then you can say if it is 45K, then you can say it wants to continue like this. So if you think from a big picture, remember I compared that this is a huge uptrend, started like it lasted for 2 years, 2015 to 2017. You see, this is a huge move from here to here, and then this is a first big dip. You may say bear market, I'm just saying dip from purposefully, because look at the move. This is not a bear market to me, this is correction, usual correction, and a healthy correction, because from $150 to 19K, okay, almost 20K. And if somebody expect it to continue 100K, that's insanity. In fact, this itself is insanity, because this is too much to me. But anyway, so if you look at the monthly, you would agree with me that this is a huge one big wave, and this is the correction. This is not bear market, this is just simply a correction. This is not even 50% correction. I mean, it didn't even come to 1000 as people were talking about. The halfway of this wave would be 1K. Remember those days, people were talking about 1K 1300. They were talking about retesting of this level. Basically, they were thinking that it went up so much that it could come down and retest this level. That's why they were talking about 100, 1100, 1000 to 1300 range. Everybody was talking, and Bitcoin just stopped here. It was a major move, those who joined late. But the point is, from a big picture point of view, because Bitcoin doesn't know where you entered, right? Bitcoin follows its life cycle, right? So point is, if humankind was not part of the dinosaur era, it's not it's not their fault that we missed them. Point is, uh, they were there for long, right? But we missed them because we came later. So the point is, the life cycle goes on. So it started from 150k, 19k. People realize late, and then they think, oh, this is a bear market. To me, it's not a bear market. It's simply a correction. Uh, I'm not exaggerating here. This is a tiny correction in my point of view. Just imagine from $150 to 20k, and if it come to 3k, how is it a bear market? Yeah. So that's the thing. So it's a perspective, but yeah, it's a bad thing if someone join here. Anyway, so the point is the same story, right? It's a relative thing. So it went up, correction, went up, rejection, retest, right? Retest could have been limited to this, but because of COVID, it extended, right? But a very small period. Anyways, it was higher low, and went up. To me, this is what this structure is a mini structure, or a fractal actually of this structure. Okay, so what, very simply put, uptrend. So there are two components: uptrend and a consolidation. Uptrend and a consolidation. You see, very simple. This is a mini version of this particular segment, right? So this is top, this is top, this is bottom, this is bottom, this is another attempt, and then another attempt. This is retest of this low, this is retest. Simply put, now with that, if this pattern continues, if this fractal continues, this would take us to higher level, and that could be 120k, this level. In my opinion, the segment, the wave will get shorter. That means this is long, then this is shorter, and then the third one would be little shorter. So that would end somewhere here, and then there will be a major correction. However, this pattern could fail here as well, let me tell you. But we cannot say that, as I talked about it, right, on a weekly. But on a monthly, this is how it looks like at this moment. 45k plus, that's it. We need that much, and it must stay there. And then we are talking about higher level. So that's why I think this is the time where we have to be just watchful. We don't have to hurry, in my opinion. We have to slow down. We have to really slow down. We, even if we are not taking trade every day, I think that's totally okay. Just relax. See, because the market is very volatile, market is not sure where to go. It's not our fault that we are not able to find opportunities. Sometime when there is traffic jam, what happened? We just sit tight in the car. We don't try to come out of the car and start shouting that, hey, move ahead, move ahead, right? Everybody is in traffic jam. So let's be patient, sit in the car, play some music, right? We don't have a choice there. So right now we are on a highway, but middle of the traffic jam, right? And it's like traffic is moving, but in interim it's like range bound. So point is, in this situation, it's time to be patient, and there will be opportunity when the certain level comes. But right now, as I said, it's time to watch very carefully, not to hurry. Yeah, there can be short-term opportunity here and there, but from a longer term where you can say, I bought it and I'm relaxed. No, I mean that this is not the time. That's what I would say. So this is a very simplistic approach that I shared with you on a monthly. I hope that will help you understand what actually happening here. Of course, this is my interpretation. Everybody would have different interpretation, but this is a very simple approach. Okay. What else? So with this note, I'm ending Bitcoin part of it, and then continue with all the alts, and then we'll talk about some other topics. I mean, we'll talk on different topics. Okay, so we have to go on weekly now. We should look at monthly as well if the data are good enough, because this is month end. Remember, on a weekly call, we do look at monthly as well. It's always good to see. Now, Alice touched this one. Remember, this line was added last time. Very similar to what Bitcoin did, right? On weekly, it touched this. So definitely, if it touched this one, this becomes your risk support, right? I mean, this week's low, this becomes your support. Very simply put, because then we are talking about the whole entire structure relying on this yellow line. If you are on Alice, what I'm saying for Alice, if you see, we are going to see similar structure for other coin as well. That's why I'm explaining. So this is not just about Alice, it's about a structure, it's about a chart. Okay, different coins will have little different flavors, but there are very limited ice creams. Okay, there may be some chocolate flavors, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, I'm telling you, but they are chocolate flavors. So yeah, it has to. Right now there's nothing opportunity wise. This is the time. Think about what level I need to watch. This is not time where we can say, oh, it's going for this level and that level, unfortunately. Amazing looking bounce this week, right? From Atom, you can look at it. So from S2 it's bouncing, it's showing the strength here, especially today it's up by 6%. It's showing the strength. Yeah, so Atom was not strong actually a year ago, like especially in 2020 it was ordinary. Recent time it's showing some strength in last few weeks, especially when even if the Bitcoin is down, it was showing some strength. So there's some community is really supporting Atom, or they are really able to retain the value of Atom. Something is happening in Atom community, Atom supports. Reasons could be anything, but chart is telling me that this community is now really supporting their coin in terms of price. They are really not letting this coin go down. So I see some major support from the holders here or buyers. Amazing. It reminds me Chainlink, a year and a half ago. So this is another strong coin, AVAX. Look at this one. Of course, this S3 touch, but now it quickly bouncing. It reacted near the green level, which makes sense because this is a heavy resistance zone. Still, the downtrend hasn't ended. If you look at it, so this is a welcome bounce. It has broken above S2, right? So if we could close, say closing is important here, because you saw what happened is it went up here but closed here. So I, even if this went up here, I'm interested how it closes, because if it could go here and then closes here, then it's not good, right? Like these 2 weeks, you see, amazing move, both, and as if it's going to break above, but didn't move. It rested it. So this is positive that they were able to remain above S2, right? They didn't come to S3. So AVAX is definitely a quality coin, a coin which is able to retain its value for sure, right? So definitely a strong coin. Now here, look at this one. Maybe some adjustment is needed from an angle point of view. A little bit of adjustment maybe, but I don't want to tweak a lot, only little bit. Still we are not violating any rule. So this is survival mode. If you look at this trend line, right, forget about this is ascending triangle. Ascending triangle is only 50% filled, so it's not ascending triangle yet. The shape is like that, so but it's not completely filled yet. So this is another technical stuff. Those who are interested, it has to fill a 70-80% at least, then it makes sense. Then the pattern is valid. Right now pattern is half cooked. You can say it's ascending triangle, but it's half cooked. Okay. Sometime if you think the ascending triangle failing because it's half, it would be half cooked, you will study that, you will not learn that. So if it goes down, don't say ascending triangle went down. If it goes down from here, then you tell me. Very less probability. Here the higher probability. So ascending triangle, I just ended up sharing something very interesting point. You will not find this in the book. What I just said. It's observation. Anyways, so this is a survival mode, very similar to Alice, right? So got up, and in fact it broke this low, but because it intra week move, but yeah, that means this low becomes the key support for BNB, and we know that it, if it starts breaking above S1, then incremental approach, as I always recommend, above S1, above required level and above. So longer term point of view, 1 2 3 and then fun, you know. So very simple approach, but here discipline is required. It's here, it's not here, right? So once it is above S1, then you can say, okay, now I'm interested. It's expensive, but you will learn that buying expensive is not important, because people think just from price point of view, not from risk point of view. You have to combine both price and risk, and I put more emphasis on risk level. Here the risk is lesser, so it's expensive but the risk is lesser, so you are more safer, and that's more important than buying higher price, because buying here or here won't make any difference if it has to go much higher. So those who are very short term thinker would think, oh, why should I buy here, why should I buy here at 450 when I can buy here? That's a short that trader is not experienced. Okay, very short term thinker, because if it has to go up here, it doesn't matter whether you buy here or here. So it matters, this is not right time, this is no opportunity here. It's in survival mode, it has to go above, break above S1 at least. Okay, then it makes sense. The next is crow. This is also good to see, it didn't break then this low, right? This is a retest of this, so that's very positive. As I said, this is still going down, so it has to at least break above this high, right? Then it makes sense. 0.55 will give us some comfort level, and then again one step, two step, three, four step, then you enjoy swing trading. But this, no, this it's not proving anything other than saying, okay, I don't want to go down, there's no opportunity, sorry. Doge still not able to break above the red line. It's still going down in this direction. Nothing bad. It's kind of a narrowing down if you look at it. So this is a falling wedge, but not a sharp one. Actually, a very strange one. Usually at this angle, very strange one. If you look at this one, so this is narrowing down. So if it is possible that it could have a major breakout near, because if you look at shrinking, but at the same time, if it, you know, it all depends if it is able to, because what is happening, it's making new low, low, new low, new low, new low. So point is, though it looks very positive because the severity of drop is reducing, but this is also consolidation in one way. So I would rely on Doge only when it breaks above S1. This all this is like, to me, let me extend this for a reason, to me, and make it orange to show this is a resistance zone. Okay. um Point is, yeah, this, we don't need to think about those unless it breaks above this level, and of course this is a required level. 0.3. So same approach, it has to break above this one, two, three step, and then enjoy. But if it is not able to break above, then it can have a really bad downside move. To me, that's a risk. So that's why this is not ready yet, in short. Doge survival mode, it's looking amazing, 6%, but very similar to BNB. So this is encouraging, 6%, but I would say at least it has to close above S2, right? It's far from the required level. But if you look at the pattern, it is possible that so it's kind of a, I'll draw a simple line like this to make you visualize, right? So the counter trend, upside move, counter trend, upside. This is very similar to Bitcoin actually. I talked about this one. Dot has a similar setup as Bitcoin. This is like Bitcoin's 64K. This is like Bitcoin's 29K. This is Bitcoin's again 64, 65K. And this is Bitcoin's recent level. Very much similar pattern. So it's not doing anything different than Bitcoin in terms of not just direction, but even the pattern. Very much identical. Interesting. I think a couple of coins are like that. EGLD similar. There's nothing different. Only thing is this is a little stronger. The consolidation is happening here again, but you look at the behavior. Uh, you know what I shown to you, like this one, for the dot. It's the same thing, but it's happening in the channel. That's the only difference. This was stronger. That's why I made new high, and Bitcoin was here, dot was here, but this was little higher. That's why it's channel. But fundamentally they are doing the same thing. So when the coin is stronger, it ends up with a different pattern. So that's why you see higher high, and now higher low, where the Bitcoin is almost close to this low, dot is almost close. So it's like EGLD is better than dot. Sorry, dot is better than Bitcoin, and EGLD is better than dot. If you want to relate rank wise, structure wise, strength wise, it's strange, right? Strange world when the alts are stronger than Bitcoin. This was never happened in past. In the previous bull market, Bitcoin used to be the strongest one. This consolidation time, Bitcoin didn't make new highs. So many alts went up and made new high. It never happened in history before that the Bitcoin is moving sideways or going down and alts went up. It never happened. But it happened here. So there's a divergence here. But in next few years, Bitcoin is going to be sidelined by some of the coins. They are going to be independent, in my opinion, very strong opinion, and they will not follow strictly. They won't. They will have their own fundamental. They'll act more like stock rather than someone who always follow. There's always a sign. It will take few years, maybe 3 to 5 years. Eventually, they will be independent. Not all, of course. Most of them will go away. But yeah, they will have their own identity. Bitcoin won't be able to retain its market cap, and Bitcoin may not be the number one. It's just matter of time. So ETH, very similar thing. It is similar, right? I mean, I don't have to explain. You got it. Yeah. See, simple. As I said, these are different chocolate flavors: milk chocolate, dark chocolate, 60% cocoa, 70% cocoa, that kind of a thing. If you tilt the flux on this angle, then it becomes so. ETH, you if you very funny part, if you shrink this part, make a smaller part, then it becomes this dimension. Very similar. Anyways, flux is, again, you see this support zone. It's bouncing off the support zone, which is good thing. If once it breaks above this green level, then it's good. So got to wait for it to happen. No need to hurry. This is still a consolidation zone. So from a long-term point of view, the whole entire thing is, if you look at the whole entire thing, is a huge consolidation, and this is support zone. Because if this is broken, it's going to come to 0.41. There's no doubt about it. So you don't need to, but if it breaks above, then it has to go how much higher, right? 0.6 or 7 easily. Similar pattern. There's nothing different here at this part. If you look at flux and FTM, they're buddies, kind of. It's very similar. Anyway, so FTM has been a star, right? Very, very promising in terms of, look at the movement. So if I simply put, it's going up like this. As part of this journey, you see consolidation. Maybe the wave angle is this. Okay, this is the angle. So it would go up, then deviate, come back, average out, consolidation, move up, move away, right, and again consolidate near this yellow midline, goes down on an average, this level goes up, move away, comes down on an average. So this is what is happening. So you definitely, you can draw a box like this again, and then like this one. This is the whole entire. So this is first, second, this is third consolidation. So there can be a third one or another leg, or that's it, or this can be the end. So if this is the end, what you will expect, this is a double top anyways, right? This is a top, this is double top. In that case, it will go down here. Okay, so if this is not able to break above the required level, which is this, what, 2.7, and right now currently it's looking weak from this particular segment. Overall it's positive because it's far away from this low, but this particular downturn is still continuing. So yeah, if it is not able to break above the green, simply it's this will be the end of this one. Okay, and it's likely to come down to this level, 0.19. In that case, in that case it will be 90, 80, 90%. Yeah, usual 90%, 95% correction from the top. But if you look at it, as I said, for Bitcoin, right, it is a big drop, but if you look at from where it started, so it's, even if it comes down to this level, let's say, this is not even halfway, this is not even here. So when I shown to you the Bitcoin, right, the even 2017, 2018 was a small one. It's more like correction. So to me, even if it comes down to this is not a big deal. What will happen is you will see something like this. Only the change in the angle, so it will land here and say, oh, okay, fine, it's continuing. That's the only difference. and then it will shoot up like anything and make new high, as long as coin has substance, platform has substance. But yeah, I mean, those who bought here and they are not managing the risk, but this is devastating. But other, it's a bonanza. It's a lovely, like it's like a, it's a, because you missed this one and this is an opportunity to me, right? But the point is we had to wait for that opportunity. Yeah. And to me it's really a bonus actually, because if this platform has as I said, longer term, 5 years or something like that, so any big correction like this is a bonus, because those who are not able to get out, it's a devastating affair for sure. Otherwise it's a bonus, because this coin has actually, in terms of percentage, went up by 20,000%. 20,000%, right? 200x. So these are small corrections. These are small correction. One correction is due, in my opinion. It's not that I want it, but it makes sense. That's, but if it is crazy, maybe it will happen from here. So either it will happen from here or somewhere here. But this kind of a vertical move without major correction is impossible. I mean, probability wise, it doesn't happen that way. It has to reset at certain level and then go up. It has to refuel. So, but that will be opportunity, as I said, and we'll be able to pick it up. I'm telling you, that won't be a problem. We are going to pick up, and right now I'm already highlighting that this is the required level. So assume, unless it breaks above this required level, assume this is a top. Okay, it's easier. It's not about being negative, it's about really, yeah, realistic thing, because it's showing a sign here, weakness. But there can be one more leg, as I said. But yeah, right now, unless the Bitcoin goes above, breaks above 45K, I'm not going to change my stand. To me, the downside risk is still higher. The Gala, so Gala story, it's still major drawdown, went up to this R2 level and came back, right? And then I think this was the earlier support from where it reacted. You see, so it wants to go up, trying hard. Not bad, not bad. HNT, not bad. See, some second. KCS, not bad. Look at that, similar pattern. We saw BNB and so many. KDA, similar thing. Because now that now similar pattern. I don't want to spend a lot of time here. The same story, down 10, upside move, and a retest. Link is one of the weakest one at this moment. We kept it last time because of its past history and a good use case, but structure wise, this is really a weak coin. Okay, so I would like to highlight that we kept it because of its credibility. Yeah, sometimes you have to give credit, right? But to me, this is like topping out. This is topping out at this moment, unless it really reaches to this level. Required level is this, but even if it reaches 27, 28K, that would be good enough, probably. Okay, but otherwise, this is going down. Going down. So some of the alts are suggesting that. Luna, Luna is amazing. It's crazy, actually, not amazing. Luna is crazy category. Um, Luna goes up like anything. Luna is very strong. Look at R4, but we have to stick to a script. Right? It's very close to a required level, but we have to stick to our rules. It hasn't broken yet. Okay, very positive, strong, but our rule says it has to break. It hasn't. So we got to wait. It looks tempting, but better to follow technicals. Also, this is R4. I don't know why this is so faint. I have to make it larger. So trading view is changing something. I don't know. Yeah, so this is awesome, right? Look at that. But let it break above. So then 1, 2, 3, and then those stepping stones. This coin, but very careful, because whenever I see this, it reminds me that how bad this coin could be when the day is bad, when it is really in a bad mood. This is a scary candle. If it can do once, it can do twice. Anyways, but right now, awesome, awesome. I don't know why Luna is going up. It's funny. I think it's also because of its stable coin. People are parking their money in there, so it is possible because Luna price is driven by the amount of money in their stable coin. Highly overvalued, number one overvalued as far as I know. This coin has no substance but highest ranking in terms of chart price. That's a funny thing. Fundamentally, it's just providing a stable coin. Unless I'm missing something, that there's absolutely nothing special about it. Mana is doing awesome. I mean, look at it's retaining value pretty well here. Look at it's about our S1, right? Pretty good, pretty good. But the same story, right? Drawdown, bounce, and a retest. Matic, same thing. Survival on this line. If I shrink it, you'll understand that it could go down up to 4.65 if this continues going down, because it will just simply complete this symmetry. So that's why it's important that we wait for certain height. So I don't believe in bear and bull. I believe in levels. To me, give me this level, and I'm talking about high level. Otherwise, I'm not going to. Matic, be very careful, huh? Because this is near vertical move and it hasn't corrected. This is not even correction. There is no, in fact, there is no correction. Other coin corrected, this coin hasn't corrected. This coin went up by, in fact, look at that, 25,000. In fact, we should count from here. 40, is it? This is insane. 46,000%. 46,000%. And no correction. So if it corrects, please don't get shocked. It will be an opportunity, even if it comes. Maybe this is halfway. Maybe this is a good level, in my opinion. And then shoot up. We don't want to get trapped here. No way. So we'll be patient. Yeah. One is not bad, but still it's the same story. I don't have the line. I can simply draw line, so it's going to come on this, right? Nothing new. We can even extend it here as well. Very simple. So this is surviving. RNDR, same story. This is a retest, so not bad. This is a key support. Sand, bounce from S2, not bad. Retested the same story. Right? Downturn, bounce, retest, same chocolate flavor. SKL, similar story. Down continues and then retest of this one. Salona, you remember, we've been tracking this when it was here. This was like a crown structure. Remember, we were tracking first this part, and then I said if this is broken, it will come to this level, and it came down to this level. Then I said if this is broken, it will come down to another level, and then I had a projection which goes all the way here. Then when I said this is crazy but possible, and I would say this. So that's why if you look at this is again, you would see this in many cases. But this is a shoulder, this is head, but the head is not complete yet, so this is half cooked pattern, and this pattern could change if it gains certain height. This is S1, but Salona is not in a good position, and don't be surprised it comes down to 26. Okay, I'm telling you, and that is an opportunity. So it's not an advice, financial advice, but at least I would say this is not financial advice by any mean, but please don't get yourself locked with any long position at this moment. That's my take, I would say. Please don't get yourself locked, right? Let it get some height. You will have plenty of opportunity if it reaches certain height. I'm telling you, not here, not in here. You would like to have cash so you could buy where when it is cheaper. I'm telling you. So right now it might be frustrating, but trust me, you will have better opportunity later. So either you will have better opportunity at certain level on a higher side, or you will have better opportunity over here. This for all the coins. It's not that because we are here we always need to trade, because we are here we always need to have something. No, it's not like that. Sometimes doing nothing is more beneficial than doing something which has more risk. That's my take. Okay. So, and if you are interested in short, you can short as well, because it is shorting is nothing but it's trading in opposite direction. But I'm against leverage. So if you want to short below this, you may short slowly, but leverage is dangerous because they move up so much, people get liquidated for a reason. So that's the point. 1x gives you a lot of room there. 1x is good, right? 1x short is fine because 1x won't liquidate you easily, of course not, right? So, and you will have stop loss and all. It's manageable. Make sure that wherever you do, the volume is high, because you don't want to miss the stop loss. That's the very important thing. If your stop loss is not triggered, then it's a bigger problem. So it's a tip. Always choose a coin which has a more liquidity, more volume, because then probability of hitting your stop loss is higher. If you choose a coin which has very low liquidity, you even if you put stop loss, it may not trigger. So be careful with that, especially when the market moves a lot. It might hop over and it might not trigger your stop loss, so be careful, especially when you have stop limit. If you have stop market, then it's a different story, because at a stop price it will trigger, and it will trigger and then sell at a market price. But if you have stop limit, that that could be a problem. For example, if a coin is at 100, and if you are stop at, let's say, 95, and your limit is 94 or 94.5, let's say, little lower than stop, but from 94 it might go for 93.5, so it may hop over. If coin is moving too fast, the low liquidity, then your limit will not be touched, and I mean, it won't go through. So be careful. Anyway, so this is on the table at this moment, unless it reaches certain height. So be careful with this sell or nothing. Okay, it is likely to get very cheap. Again, this is an insane move. This is look at it, there's no correction, 27,000%. So even if it comes down to this is not a big deal. Remember, just last year, like a year ago, it was $1, right? So even if it comes to 26, it's still 26x. It's not a big deal at all. Yeah, so this is still a high probable scenario at this moment, unless it breaks above. VRA is also on edge, right? Similar to many other coins. XRP touched R1, and then there's nothing. I added because there was good price action, but now this looks like a dead coin to me. Probably there was some news or some new listing, that's why it got bumped, but there's nothing after that. So maybe I'll keep it for a while, otherwise I'll drop it. Because this is totally volatile coin. There's nothing much, and it had a rough year from many point of view, like regulations and all that. So, but yeah, it had a good price action few weeks ago, so I was interested. But then there's nothing special about it. What I mean is, there's nothing special about it. Okay, with that note, I end the weekly session. I hope you found it very useful. So we covered in this session, we covered, so if you join late, we covered why Bitcoin pumped, how it is related to the overall market, different macro factors, especially gold and oil, and then how money is moving from one asset class to another. We looked at Bitcoin on a 1 day, weekly, monthly, and of course all the alts we saw, and different topics we talked about right in this session. So if you have missed, you can always go back and watch it. Very important week, very important phase. I mean, it's always something, right? But yeah, so take care, and I hope we'll go through this. I mean, we'll be able to overcome this situation soon, I hope. But anyways, if it decides to go down, there is opportunity on the downside as well. So to me, north or south doesn't make any difference, as long as you can identify the direction. Okay, with that note, I end the session and open for question.